Hey now, this is the look inside the 2024 Pepsi SWAC Football Media Day presented by GM. As people continue to move throughout and talk to players and coaches, we have Mr. Kendrick Wade from Mississippi Valley State on stage. This Delta Devils group predicted to finish 6th in the East. And Coach, I'm thinking that obviously you picked up your first win last year as a head coach. You're wanting to build on that. How do you add more wins this season?
Just staying true to the process, not really focusing on the outcome, just continue to do winning things each and every day, controlling the things that we can control, which is our effort, our preparation, our attention to details.
So many coaches come in, and obviously there's a great outlook for the season. What are you most hopeful for with this group?
It's funny you use the word hope. Last year we had a lot of hope. This year we have a lot of belief. So we've been through this thing for a full year. So having the experience, going through the SWAC. So there's a great amount of belief. Last year we hoped to win. This year we believe we can go out there and be successful.
Some lessons learned from you as a first-year head coach. I mean, I knew they were coming at you left and right, but kind of what stands out as takeaways?
It seems like a simple question, but it's a lot of layers to it. Everything. I mean, I hate to give a broad answer, but it's everything. How do we practice? When do we practice? How do we travel? Just the logistics of everything. So, I didn't become a better football coach as far as X's and O's. I mean, it's just how you deal with all these different things that you have to deal with as a head coach.
Kendrick, as having one season under your belt, what did you learn about your football team?
Everybody wasn't bought in, and that's the biggest thing. I mean, you try not to say it, but that's the reality. It takes time to get people to buy in. So, you have to go through it to see who's really with you and who's not with you. So the biggest thing that I've learned is we wasn't bought in, which kind of elevated us to another level to where we're a player-led team. Last year coaches had to do a whole lot as far as making sure that everything was done in a proper way. Now we put the onus on our players because they see everything. They're in the locker room, they're in the dorm, so they see more than we will ever see. So we're a player-led team, and we had to be this way because of last year.
You got the leadership. How do you keep a group of guys motivated after a 1-10 season? That's the one where do the guys think that they can win more than one game? What's their belief in? As a head coach, you're the leader of this program there. How do you keep the guys motivated and focused?
By staying true to the process. That's why we never talked about wins. We never ever talk about we want to win X amount of games. All we talk about is doing things the right way. Keep doing winning things, and eventually winning will find you. So we don't look at 1-10. If we was 10-1, our mindset would be the same as it is 1-10. Do things right each and every day.
How much turnover do you have on the roster? Today's college football changing landscape. A lot of turnover on the roster, or not much? Or you said some guys didn't buy in. How would you define it?
There's a lot of turnover as far as just quantity, but the quality of guys, I mean, we have about 90% of our productivity returning. So we had some turnover, but it was those guys that didn't really buy in. Those guys that are here, those guys are bought in, those guys that played a lot. So we played with a lot of freshmen. We lost a lot of games with a lot of freshmen, and we were okay with that because we knew those guys was completely bought into the process.
Offensively, defensively, any changes you're making, any style of play, anything we need to be made aware of?
No, defensively, we've got a new defensive staff in, but we'll pretty much be 4-down, 4-2-5 type of defense. But for the most part, we're going to stay true to it. We 18 months into this whole deal as far as what we do and who we are, so we're feeling pretty good about it.
Looking at the schedule, the first 4 games for you are on the road, right? So you open with Alcorn State, and then later you see Alabama State in terms of your first divisional game. For you, obviously every game is important, but anybody you competed against well last year that you feel like, all right, we're gonna make some noise this time around?
Yeah, ourselves. I mean, we don't look at each individual teams. It's all about us. So again, our biggest opponent is ourselves. So we got in our own way. If we go back and look at most of those games, it's not something that the opposing team did. It's what we did or didn't do.
I'm looking at that schedule there. Had an AD give me a call, man. It's tough going out there now. You're going at us. We talk about the 4 games on the road. We talk about some good programs there. But when you get in conference play, I'm looking at where do you have an opportunity to, if you had to circle a game, so you know what? Maybe it's the Alcorn game when you play them at home. Maybe that Alabama A&M game when it's at home. But going on the road, schedule didn't do you no favor. I look at Jackson State, at Florida A&M. Looks like you got to try to make a statement versus Prairie View A&M at home.
The game that we got circus that first one against Tennessee State.
I knew you were going to say that.
I mean, I know it's coach speak, but honestly, that's the only game that's important to us. in order to get to game 5, we got to get to game 1, you know, before we can get to talking about, you know, Alcorns and other schools that's coming in.
Well, Coach, you talked about so much of your roster returning and obviously having another year under their belt. Standing by with our Simone Stanley is Carrick Ross, wide receiver, and Jordan Bussey on the defensive line.
Fellas, what has you fired up for this upcoming season?
For us, it's our last year, so we're ready to just fly around and have fun with the guys one last time.
Yeah, well, us being seniors, that's our last go at it. We're trying to go out with a bang.
Absolutely, and Coach said that this is going to be a player-led team this season. What is it like carrying that responsibility?
It's really no pressure in that. I mean, really, you know, we talk to each other. We work out every day. I mean, we're together more than we're with the coaches. So going out there and working together, and it means a lot to be a player-led team and go out there and work.
We just take on the responsibilities more than football. He's growing us to be young men and successful young men in the world.
And as leaders on your respective sides of the ball, what can fans expect from the offense and defense this season?
With this being our second year in the system, we expect to be more fluent. We expect to execute more and score more points.
Defensively, just to fly around and swarm to the football and be more consistent. At times, we showed that we could be a great defense, but we want to be more consistent going into this year.
And lastly, Mississippi Valley State might be an underdog this season. What is it going to take to shock the conference?
Underdogs?
Yes. You don't agree?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
I said might now. I said might be an underdog.
And we're just putting our heads down and working, taking it one day at a time, ready for our first game August 31st against Tennessee State.
I like it, Carrick. I like the confidence.
You know what I like? Coach, you got to feel proud. One, the young man said you're raising to be men. And I know that makes you feel good, it's proud. And that youngster there, you're from Itabena, right? Oh, so it means a little something to him. He's from Itabena. That's where the school's located, and he's from Itabena. What's it like having the local guys? The local guys got to step up guys like that?
You love it. You want guys like that to be the face of the program. You know, we recruit kids and bring kids in from all over the country. He was born and raised right there. So
right
since
there.
he was 2-3 years old, Mississippi Valley State was home for him. So it definitely means a little bit more.
Well, before I let you go, just say, good luck to you down there, and I'm always going to say this. Jerry Rice University, along with little Willie Satellite Titan. Hopefully y'all can bring the good old days back.
We're ready. I can assure you of that.
All right, he said from hope to belief for Mississippi Valley State. His Delta Devils will look forward to doing great things in the 2024 season. Come